We're back in Grow a Garden on Roblox, and our garden is starting to get much more interesting. We already made some progress in the previous part, but there is still a lot we can improve. I've got more money now, so I want to see what we can buy and how much further we can take the garden. The first thing I check is the gear shop. There are useful items available, including sprinklers and other equipment that could help our garden. Some of the better items are expensive, so I need to think carefully before spending our coins. We have over 1,000 coins saved, but I don't want to waste them. After looking through the shop, I check the other features around the map. There are other players everywhere, working on their own gardens. I head back toward the selling area and check our inventory. Some crops are ready to sell, and every little bit of money helps. We've already earned more than we had at the start, so the progress is noticeable. After selling some crops, I check the seed shop again. The stock has changed, and now there are different seeds available. I see tulips and tomatoes, while some other seeds are completely out of stock. The shop changes over time, so a good seed might not always be available. I decide to buy some of the seeds that are currently in stock and bring them back to the garden. The goal is to keep as much of the garden growing as possible. If we leave too much empty space, we're wasting potential money. Back at the garden, I start planting the new seeds. The farm is already looking much fuller than before, and I'm starting to see how quickly everything can grow when we keep planting. I also notice equipment we can use to improve our crops. Sprinklers could be useful because they help the plants grow, so eventually I want better equipment. The problem is that the good stuff costs a lot, so we need to keep earning. I check the crops again and find one of our blueberries ready to collect. I pick it up and add it to the inventory. Every harvest adds to our progress. Then I continue moving around the garden and checking what else is ready. I don't want to leave crops sitting there because collecting them gives us more things to sell and more money to reinvest. At this point, I'm starting to understand the best way to play. Keep the garden planted, collect everything when it's ready, sell the harvest, and use the money to buy more seeds or useful equipment. Our balance is getting higher, and that means the next upgrades are becoming more realistic. I want to save enough for something that can make a real difference instead of spending everything immediately. The garden is growing, the crops are producing, and we're slowly building a better farm. There's still plenty more to unlock, and I'm curious to see what we can get next. For now, I'm going to keep planting and harvesting while watching the shop for better items. We've made good progress, but this is only another step toward building a huge garden. Let's keep going and see what happens next. There is still plenty of room for our garden to grow. We're back in Grow a Garden, and the farm is already starting to look much better. We've planted more crops, earned some coins, and now I want to keep pushing the garden forward. There is still empty space, so the main goal is to use as much of it as possible. I start by checking the crops that are already growing. Some are ready to harvest, so I collect everything I can. Every crop matters because we can sell it and turn it into more money. The more we harvest, the faster we can afford better seeds and equipment. After collecting the crops, I head over to the selling area. I sell the harvest and watch our balance increase. Every little profit can be invested back into the farm. Next, I visit the seed shop to see what is available. The stock changes, so I always want to check what has appeared. There are different seeds, and I'm trying to decide which ones are worth buying. I don't want to spend all our money on something that won't help us much. I choose a few useful seeds and head back to the garden. There are still empty spots waiting to be used, so I start planting immediately. The more plants we have growing at the same time, the more harvest we'll eventually collect. While the new crops are growing, I look around the map. There are other players working on their gardens, and some already have farms much bigger than ours. Those huge gardens show how much we can build if we keep improving. I also check some of the shops around the area. There is equipment that could make farming easier, but some is expensive. For now, I think it is better to keep saving money and improving the garden. After a little while, more crops are ready. I collect them and add everything to my inventory. This is becoming a regular cycle now: plant, wait, harvest, sell, and then invest the money into more seeds. The garden is slowly becoming more crowded, but that's exactly what I want. Empty space doesn't help us, while every growing plant gives us another chance to earn. I'm trying to keep the whole plot active. I also want to be careful with our money. It's tempting to spend everything as soon as we earn it, but saving some coins can be useful when a really good seed or piece of equipment becomes available. I'm trying to find the right balance between expanding now and preparing for later. Looking at the garden now, the difference from the beginning is obvious. We started with a simple plot and only a few plants. Now we're filling the space with different crops and slowly building a real farm. There are still better seeds to discover, more equipment to unlock, and plenty of space to improve. I want to find out which crops can give us the best results. For now, the plan is simple. Keep everything planted, collect every harvest, sell what we don't need, and put the money back into the garden. If we keep doing that, our farm should continue growing faster. We've made good progress, but we're nowhere near the end. There is still more to discover and grow a garden, so let's keep planting and see how far we can take this farm. The garden is getting bigger, and now I want to see how much more we can improve it. We already have more crops than before, and the money from our harvests is starting to add up. But there are still empty spaces, so there is plenty of room for the farm to grow. I start by checking all the plants that are ready. I collect the harvest and make sure nothing is left behind. Every crop gives us another chance to earn coins, so I don't want to waste anything. After collecting everything, I head over to sell the crops. Our balance goes up again, and now I can think about what to buy next. I'm trying not to spend all the money immediately because the shops can have better items later. I visit the seed shop and check the current stock. There are several seeds available, but not everyone is equally useful. I'm deciding which ones are worth the money. Some seeds can give us better crops, while others are cheaper and allow us to fill more spaces. I choose the seeds that make the most sense and return to the garden. There are still empty spots, so I start planting them right away. Slowly, almost every part of the garden is being used. After some time, I return to the garden and notice that more crops are ready. I collect another harvest and prepare to sell it. The process is becoming faster because we have more plants growing at the same time. This is exactly what I wanted. Instead of waiting for one or two plants, we now have several crops that can be harvested at different times. That means our income should continue growing as the garden gets bigger. I sell the new harvest and use part of the money to buy more seeds. I don't want to leave any space empty, so I immediately plant them. The farm is starting to look much more complete now. There are different crops growing together, and the garden is becoming more colorful with every new planting. It's hard to believe how small it looked when we first started. I'm also learning that spending money at the right time is important. If we buy too many things too early, we can run out of coins. But if we save everything, the garden won't grow quickly enough. So I'm trying to find the right balance. For now, the plan is working. We keep planting, harvesting, selling, and using the money to improve the farm. Every cycle gives us a little more progress. I also want to be careful with the money we earn. It's tempting to spend everything as soon as we have enough, but saving some coins could help when a better seed appears in the shop. At the same time, leaving the garden empty would slow us down, so I'm trying to keep the right balance between saving and expanding. Every decision matters a little more as the farm gets bigger. I'm happy with how far we've come. The farm is growing, our income is getting better, and we're slowly turning this small plot into a much bigger garden. Let's keep the crops growing, keep collecting the harvest, and see what we can unlock next. The garden is only getting started. The garden has changed a lot since we started, and now it is time to make one more big push. We have more crops, more coins, and much more experience than we had at the beginning. I want to use everything we've learned to make the farm even better before we finish this adventure. I start by checking the entire garden. Several crops are ready, so I collect the harvest and make sure nothing is left behind. Every crop matters because it gives us money for the next upgrade. With more plants growing at once, the garden is becoming much more productive. After collecting everything, I head over to sell the harvest. Our balance goes up again, and now I have enough money to think about some better purchases. I don't want to spend everything on the first thing I see, because the shops can offer something more useful. I check the seed shop and look through the current stock. There are different seeds available, and I'm trying to decide which ones can give our garden the best results. Some are cheaper and help us fill empty spaces, while others can produce better crops. I choose a few seeds and return to the farm. There are still some empty spots, so I plant them immediately. The garden is now filled with different crops, and it looks completely different from the small plot we had at the beginning. After a little while, more crops become ready. I collect them, add them to my inventory, and head back to sell them. Our coins continue to increase, and now the whole process feels much faster than it did earlier. This is what makes the game so satisfying. We plant something, wait for it to grow, collect it, sell it, and then use the money to plant even more. The more we invest in the garden, the faster everything starts moving. I decide to use some of the new money for another round of seeds. I could save everything, but leaving empty spaces would slow down our progress. At the same time, I don't want to spend every coin, because a better item could appear later. So I'm trying to keep enough money for future opportunities. I also check the equipment and other shops. Some upgrades could make farming easier, but they are still too expensive. For now, I'll keep working with what we have and save for something useful. Looking back, we've made a lot of progress. We started with a simple garden and only a few seeds, but now we're earning more, planting more, and understanding the game much better. There is still plenty left to discover and grow a garden. I want to find better seeds, unlock more useful items, and eventually build a garden that can compete with the biggest farms around us. There are also new areas I want to explore and more ways to improve our farm. For now, I'm happy with what we've achieved. Every harvest brings us closer to the next upgrade, and I want to keep that progress going. The garden is growing, the harvests are getting better, and our farm is finally starting to feel like a real garden. This is where we'll finish this part of the adventure. We've planted, harvested, sold crops, expanded our farm, and made a big step forward. But there is still more waiting for us. Thanks for watching. Let's keep growing. I'll see you in the next part of Grow a Garden. We'll keep planting, keep earning, and keep building until this little garden becomes something bigger.